Pause, breathe, listen, because this might just change everything for you. Life is messy. It twists, it turns, it throws curveballs when you're least ready. Some days it feels like you're drowning in expectations, other people's and your own. You wonder if you're behind, if you've made the right choices, if you'll ever figure it all out. But listen, here's what they don't tell you. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. That's the secret. That's the definition of this complicated time you're living through. It's not failure. It's not being lost. It's becoming. You are in the middle of your own transformation, and transformation is never clean. It's raw. It's uncertain. And that's exactly where the magic happens. So if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or like you're running out of time, you're not. You are exactly where you need to be. And today, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Your journey is unfolding just as it should. You don't need all the answers. No one truly has them. Keep moving forward. People spend so much time waiting for certainty. They want to guarantee that the next step is the right one, that the decision they're about to make won't end in regret. But life doesn't work that way. It never has, and it never will. There's this idea that at some point we're supposed to arrive, to have everything figured out, to know exactly what we're doing and why. But look around. Even the people who seem like they have it all together are just making the best choices they can with what they know at the moment. That's all anyone is doing. Think about the moments in life that changed you the most, the ones that shaped who you are today. Were they planned, or did they happen when you least expected it? More often than not, it's the unexpected moments that transform us. A conversation, a setback, an opportunity that came out of nowhere. Things you couldn't have predicted but changed everything. And that's the proof that not knowing is not a weakness. It's part of the design. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads looking at two paths. You freeze because you're scared of picking the wrong one. But here's what no one tells you. There is no wrong one. Either path will teach you something. Either path will bring experiences, lessons, people, and challenges that will shape you. The only mistake is standing still, waiting for certainty that will never come. This is why people get stuck. They sit in indecision, overanalyzing, doubting, replaying scenarios in their minds, afraid that if they choose wrong, they'll ruin everything. But let's be honest. Most of the time, the fear isn't about making the wrong choice. It's about what people will think if they do. That's the weight we carry. The need for approval. The need to be right. The need to prove that we are in control when the truth is, control is an illusion. Look at nature. A river doesn't ask for directions before it carves through rock. It flows. The wind doesn't need permission to change direction. It moves. The seasons don't wait for approval to shift from one to the next. They evolve. Life was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to be experienced. When you were a child, you didn't need to have the answers. You didn't need to know why the sky was blue to enjoy looking at it. You didn't need to understand how to walk before you took your first step. You just tried. You fell. You tried again. Somewhere along the way, that natural trust in the process got replaced with fear. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of failing. Fear of looking foolish. But if you stop for a second and really think about it, what's worse? Trying something and realizing it wasn't right, or never trying at all and wondering for the rest of your life. Some of the best things in the world were created by people who didn't have all the answers. The greatest ideas, the most powerful movements, the biggest breakthroughs, all started with uncertainty. They were built by people who didn't wait for the perfect moment, who didn't let fear of the unknown stop them. You don't need to see the whole road to take the first step. You just need to trust that whatever happens, you'll handle it. Because you will. You have before, and you will again. And that's what this is really about. Trust. Not in some outside force, not in luck or fate, but in yourself. In your ability to adapt, to learn, to adjust. Everything you've ever overcome, every challenge you've ever faced, you figured it out. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not the way you wanted to. But you did. And that's the only proof you need that you don't have to wait for certainty. You are already capable. So instead of asking, what if I make the wrong choice? Try asking, what if I never give myself the chance to find out? Failure has been given the wrong meaning. People talk about it like it's the end of the road, like it's something to be ashamed of, something to avoid at all costs. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. It's the language life uses to teach you, to redirect you, to refine you. Think about it. The first time you tried to ride a bike, you didn't glide effortlessly down the street. You wobbled, you fell, you scraped your knees. But you got back up, and with every fall, you learned something. You figured out how to balance, how to turn, how to trust yourself. What if after the first fall you had decided that biking just wasn't for you? What if you had taken that failure as a final answer instead of a lesson? You never would have known the freedom of riding. The problem isn't failure itself. It's the meaning we attach to it. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that failing means we're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy. But that's a lie. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try. And if you never try, you never grow. Look at anyone who has ever done something great. Artists, inventors, leaders, creators, every single one of them has failed, and not just once. They failed more times than they succeeded. They made mistakes, faced rejection, lost everything, had to start over. But they kept going. Because they understood that failure is feedback, it's information. It's life's way of saying, not this way, try another. Imagine if a scientist gave up after one failed experiment. Imagine if a musician quit after one bad performance. Imagine if a writer stopped writing because their first book wasn't a bestseller. The world would be empty. No breakthroughs, no music, no stories that inspire us. Failure is proof that you are in motion, that you are pushing beyond your comfort zone. And that is where real growth happens. If everything worked out perfectly the first time, you wouldn't learn anything. You wouldn't become stronger. You wouldn't develop the resilience that turns dreams into reality. People fear failure because they fear judgment. They don't want to look foolish. They don't want others to see them struggle. But think about this. When you see someone else fail and get back up, do you think less of them? Or do you admire their perseverance? Do you respect their courage? The truth is, no one is paying as much attention to your failures as you think. Everyone is too busy worrying about their own. Failure is just a detour, not a dead end. It's an opportunity to pause, to reflect, to adjust. It shows you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. Every time you fail, you are collecting pieces of the puzzle, learning the lessons that will eventually lead to your success. The only real failure is refusing to try again. Children understand this instinctively. Watch a child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, but they don't stop. They don't decide, maybe walking isn't for me. They keep getting up until one day they take a step, then another, and suddenly they're running. What if you approached your own failures with that same determination? What if instead of seeing them as proof that you're not enough, you saw them as stepping stones? The greatest mistake is being so afraid of failing that you do nothing at all. Because the cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of failure. The time will pass anyway. The days, the months, the years, they will keep moving, and the question isn't whether or not you'll fail. You will. The question is whether or not you will learn from it, whether you will keep going, whether you will allow yourself to become the person you are meant to be. There's a silent pressure that follows people everywhere. A clock ticking in the background, a voice whispering, you should be further ahead by now. It tells you that you're falling behind, that others are doing better, that you've wasted time. Better than who? Wasted time according to what? The idea that life has a set timeline is something people absorb without questioning. Finish school by this age, have a career by that age, get married, buy a house, have kids, retire, all in a perfect, predictable sequence. And if you don't, then what? Does life suddenly lose its value? Some of the most successful, fulfilled, and extraordinary people in history didn't follow a so-called normal timeline. Some found their purpose late in life. Some reinvented themselves after failure. Some spent years lost, uncertain, searching. And none of that made them less worthy. If anything, it made them more interesting. A flower doesn't look at another flower and think, why am I not blooming yet? It just blooms when it's time. The same is true for people. Everyone has a different pace, a different journey, a different lesson they are meant to learn. What is meant for you will not arrive too early or too late. It will arrive when you are ready. But it's hard to believe that when the world constantly feeds you images of other people's highlight reels. Social media has made it worse. You see a post of someone celebrating a promotion, another one getting engaged, Another buying a new house, traveling, starting a business, achieving their dreams. And suddenly, your own life feels small in comparison. But what you don't see is the struggle behind the scenes, the self-doubt, the failures, the late nights of wondering if they would ever get there. Comparison is dangerous because it tricks you into measuring your life by someone else's story. But their story is not yours. Their path is not yours. You do not need to be at the same place as them. What is meant for them is not necessarily meant for you. Life is not a race. There is no finish line. There is no prize for rushing through it the fastest. If anything, the people who take their time, who explore different paths, who make mistakes and start over, who learn and grow and shift direction, they are the ones who truly live. Think about it. Some people find their passion early, some later. Some fall in love young, some after years of heartbreak, some find success quickly, some only after countless failures. Does it really matter when it happens, or does it matter that it happens at all? The truth is, there is no behind in life. There is only where you are. And where you are is exactly where you are meant to be. The only thing that truly matters is that you keep moving forward, that you stay open, that you trust your own journey instead of trying to fit into someone else's. There's a moment in every journey where things feel like they're falling apart. You question everything. You wonder if you made a mistake, if you should turn back, if all the effort was even worth it. It feels like breaking. And in a way, it is. But breaking is not the end, it's a beginning. People think growth is supposed to feel good, that transformation is supposed to be smooth, effortless, like a straight path leading upward. But real growth, the kind that changes you, is uncomfortable. It strips away the parts of you that no longer fit, forces you to face what you've been avoiding, and challenges you in ways you never expected. Think about how a seed becomes a tree. Before it ever reaches the surface, before it ever sees the sun, it has to break open. It has to crack, to split apart, to lose the shape it once had. Only then can it push through the dirt and reach for the sky. If the seed refused to break, if it held on to what it was, it would never become what it was meant to be. The same is true for people. Growth is a process of unlearning as much as it is learning. It's about shedding old beliefs, releasing old fears, letting go of identities that no longer serve you. And that doesn't happen without discomfort. The reason change feels so hard is because your mind craves certainty. It wants to stay in what is familiar, what feels safe, even if that familiarity is holding you back. It's why people stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, routines that no longer serve them, because stepping into the unknown feels like losing control. But what if losing control is the very thing that sets you free? Think about the hardest moments in your life, the moments that felt unbearable, the moments where you didn't know if you'd make it through. Now look at yourself today. You did make it through. And not only did you survive, but you also changed. You are not the same person you were before those struggles. You are stronger, wiser, deeper. Those painful moments shaped you in ways comfort never could. A butterfly doesn't just wake up with wings. It has to go through the cocoon, through the darkness, through the breaking down of everything it once was. And in that in-between stage, it looks like a mess. It looks like destruction. But that destruction is actually creation. The same is happening to you. When life feels like it's breaking you, when nothing makes sense, when everything feels like chaos, that is the moment you are becoming something new. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're in the middle of a transformation. And transformation is never neat. Most people turn back when things get hard. They convince themselves that the struggle means they're on the wrong path, that discomfort is a sign they should stop. But discomfort is not a stop sign. It's proof that you are growing. The only way through it is to keep going. To trust that the breaking is making space for something greater. To believe that the struggle is shaping you in ways you cannot yet see. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that the moments you thought were breaking you were actually the moments that set you free. Fear is a tricky thing. It lurks in the corners of your mind, whispering stories about what could go wrong. It shows up as doubt, insecurity, and hesitation. It convinces you that you're not enough, that you're not ready, that you're not capable of the things you dream of. But fear is not the truth. Fear is just a voice, a loud, persistent, sometimes convincing voice, but a voice nonetheless. The challenge is most people spend their lives listening to it. They hear the fear, they let it control their decisions. They stop themselves from taking chances because they're afraid of what might happen. But here's the thing. Fear only has power if you give it power. If you let it tell you what you can and cannot do, if you let it dictate your choices, then it wins. But fear is also a liar. It doesn't know what's ahead. It doesn't know what you're capable of. It only knows what it has known from the past, the things you've failed at, the mistakes you've made, the times you've fallen short. And because fear is rooted in the past, it doesn't understand growth. It doesn't understand that today you are not who you were yesterday. It doesn't see the strength you've gained, the lessons you've learned, the courage you've developed. Think about it. And every time you've stepped into something new, something unknown, something that made your heart race, didn't fear show up? Didn't try to hold you back, make you second guess, make you turn around? But then what happened? You moved forward anyway. And when you did, you saw that it wasn't as scary as fear made it out to be. You handled it, you learned, you adapted. And each time you proved to yourself that fear was just noise, not a truth. This is why the most powerful people are often the ones who are afraid. Fear never disappears. It just becomes something you learn to move with, something you learn to walk through instead of around. The trick is not to wait for fear to go away. It's to keep moving even when it's there, even when it's loud, even when it's trying to convince you to stop. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is simple. Those who succeed listen to their power, not their fear. They acknowledge fear, they recognize it for what it is, but they don't let it control them. Instead, they keep walking, even with the fear in tow. Because they understand that fear doesn't stop progress. It just tries to slow it down. Every time you face your fear and move through it, you build confidence. You teach yourself that fear can no longer control you, that your strength is bigger than any worry. And you also learn that fear is often a sign that you're stepping into something new, something important. It shows you that you're on the verge of growth, that you're about to break through to something greater. It's easy to think that those who are confident, those who seem fearless, have some secret, some special gift. But the truth is, confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is the willingness to take action despite the fear. It's the ability to move forward, to trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, even if you don't know what's next. Fear tells you to wait, to hold off, to play it safe. It tells you that the unknown is dangerous, that failure is imminent. But here's the deeper truth. The unknown is not your enemy. It's your opportunity. The greatest things in life are often just outside of your comfort zone. And if you wait until fear is gone before you act, you might be waiting forever. So when fear shows up, and it will, acknowledge it. Thank it for its opinion, but don't let it make your decisions for you. You are more than your fear. You are stronger, smarter, and more capable than fear will ever let on. The key is to step forward with it, to walk beside it, and to prove to yourself that fear doesn't have the final say. You do. Rest is often seen as a luxury, something you only deserve when you've worked hard enough, when you've earned it. It's treated like an indulgence, something to feel guilty about, something that should be avoided in the face of all the things that need to be done. But rest is not a reward. It's not a break from life. Rest is essential. Rest is part of the process. Think about it. We all have limits. Our bodies, our minds, our spirits, everything has a threshold. And when you push past those limits without pause, without giving yourself time to recover, you start to run on empty. You might push through for a while. You might keep moving, keep striving, keep doing, and everything may look fine on the outside. But inside you're wearing down. You're losing energy. You're depleting the very source that drives you. You're the opposite of hard work. It is the complement to it. Without rest, your work becomes less effective. Your ideas become stale. Your energy becomes scattered. But when you rest, you allow your mind to reset, your body to recharge, and your spirit to renew. It's in the quiet moments of rest that you find clarity, that you reconnect with yourself, that you get the perspective you need to move forward. When you think about nature, you see this principle everywhere. The earth goes through cycles, seasons of growth and seasons of rest. After the long, vibrant days of summer, there's a time for the world to slow down, to cool off, to regenerate. Without this rest, without the winter to balance the summer, the earth would lose its ability to bloom again. It would burn out, and we are no different. Rest is not weakness, it is wisdom. It's understanding that to keep moving forward, you must pause to recalibrate. It's recognizing that your body, your mind, your soul are not machines. They can't run non-stop without consequence. Eventually you'll burn out, and when that happens, you're no good to anyone, least of all yourself. But in our fast-paced world, rest is often seen as a luxury that only a few can afford. We are constantly told that to be productive is to be valuable, that constant motion is the marker of success. And so we fill our days with to-do lists, with tasks, with noise. But in doing so, we lose touch with the most important thing, ourselves. We forget to listen to our bodies, to check in with our emotions, to give ourselves permission to pause. The truth is, there's power in stillness, there's strength in slowing down. When you rest, you're not just taking a break from the world, you're recharging your ability to engage with it in a more meaningful way. You're giving yourself the space to be more creative, more focused, more present. You're setting yourself up for greater impact, not by working harder, but by working smarter. It's easy to believe that rest is something that happens after everything is done, after you've checked off every item on your list. But this mindset is a trap. It suggests that you are only worthy of rest when you've done enough. But in truth, you don't need to earn it. You deserve it simply because you are human. You deserve it because your body and mind need care. You deserve it because you are worthy of kindness, starting with yourself. When you rest, you also reconnect with your purpose. Sometimes we get so caught up in the act of doing that we forget why we're doing it. We lose sight of the bigger picture. But when you take time to rest, when you give yourself permission to slow down, you gain perspective. You remember what matters. You realize that you are not defined by what you do, but by who you are. Rest allows you to hear your own voice. It allows you to be in tune with your needs, to understand what's truly important. It helps you reconnect with the energy that initially inspired you to move forward in the first place. Without it, you risk losing that energy. And without that energy, everything becomes a chore instead of a joy. So next time you feel the pressure to keep going, next time you feel like you have to push through no matter what, remember this: rest is not a retreat. It is a vital part of the journey. It is the space where your strength is renewed, where your vision is clarified, and where your spirit is restored. Rest is not a waste of time. It is the most valuable investment you can make. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to be more, to do more, to have more. Success is often defined by how much we accumulate, how many milestones we can check off, how much we can achieve in a given amount of time. And somewhere along the way, we start to believe that the only way to measure our worth is by these external markers. But the truth is, the real measure of your life isn't how much you've accomplished or how many things you've crossed off your to-do list. It's about how deeply you've experienced it. It's about the quality, not the quantity. Many people spend their lives chasing the next thing, always moving toward the next goal without ever stopping to truly appreciate where they are. They reach one milestone only to turn their gaze toward the next, never really pausing to take in what they've already accomplished. It's like running a race without ever enjoying the scenery. And in doing so, they miss the beauty of the journey. In a society obsessed with achievement, it's easy to forget that life is not a competition. It's not about being the fastest or the best. It's about finding your own rhythm and following it at your own pace. You are not in a race against anyone else. Your only competition is who you were yesterday. And the goal is to become the best version of yourself, not someone else's idea of success. We often equate success with speed. We measure how much we can get done in a day, how quickly we can complete our tasks, how fast we can climb the ladder. But true fulfillment isn't about rushing to the top. It's about enjoying each step of the climb. It's about finding meaning in the process, not just the result. When you focus only on the destination, you miss the richness of the experience itself. Life is not a checklist. It's a collection of moments, both big and small, that shape who you are. And if you're constantly chasing after the next thing, you miss those moments. You miss the simple joys, the quiet achievements, the moments that make life truly meaningful. If you only focus on the finish line, you'll forget to enjoy the race. Think about the times when you've been present. Truly present. When you were not rushing to get somewhere, not thinking about what was next, but simply existing in the moment. Those are the moments when life feels full. Those are the times when you feel alive, connected to the world around you. And it's in those moments when you are truly engaged that you experience the deepest satisfaction. Slowing down doesn't mean you're not working hard. It doesn't mean you're not trying or striving. It simply means that you're giving yourself permission to enjoy the journey. It means you're not just focused on getting to the end, but on appreciating where you are along the way. Life is not a race against time. It's an exploration of what it means to be human, to be present, to be grateful. And the truth is, you'll never be fully satisfied by external achievements alone. You might climb the corporate ladder, buy the house, travel the world, but if you're not present in those experiences, they will never truly fill you. Achievements are wonderful, but they are not the source of lasting fulfillment. The moments that truly nourish you are the ones when you are fully immersed in life, when you stop worrying about what comes next and just let yourself be. The idea of amore can be intoxicating. We're taught that if we just get a little more money, more status, more recognition, then we'll be happy. But this is a trap, because once you get more, there's always more to be had. It's a cycle that never ends. The moment you think you've arrived, you realize there's always something else to chase. So you keep running, keep striving, but never truly arrive. Instead of focusing on the external, focus on the internal. Focus on what makes you feel fulfilled in the moment, not in the future. Ask yourself, what do I need right now to feel whole? Because the truth is, everything you need is already inside you. You don't need to chase after more. You just need to recognize the value in what you already have. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, to think that the only way to be successful is to keep pushing forward, to keep striving for more. But in doing so, you miss the essence of what life is about. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And the journey is not about rushing through it. It's about being present in each step, each moment, and finding fulfillment not in the end result, but in the experience itself. The more you shift your focus from what you don't have to what you do, the more you realize that life isn't about achieving anything at all. It's about embracing what is already here, finding joy in the simplicity of the present moment, and understanding that you are enough as you are right now. The future is something we often treat as a distant place, a destination that will eventually arrive at once we've done all the necessary things. We spend so much time worrying about it, planning for it, trying to predict what will happen as if we can control it. But the future in reality is not something we can grasp. It's not something we can force or rush. The future is a collection of moments that have not yet arrived. And the only thing that truly exists is the present moment, the now. So often we get caught up in thinking that we'll be happy or fulfilled someday. We think, when I get that promotion, when I have enough money, when I find my purpose, when I achieve this goal, then I'll finally be happy. But the problem with this mindset is that you keep putting your happiness on hold. You keep pushing it into the future. And the future is always out of reach. The future is uncertain. It's unknown. It's shaped by the choices we make today, by how we respond to the present. And while it's important to plan for the future, to have goals and dreams, it's also crucial to recognize that your life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not in 5 years, but in this very moment. We often think that the right moment to start living will eventually come. One day we tell ourselves, I'll do what I've always wanted to do. I'll take that trip. I'll follow my dreams. I'll invest in my relationships. But if you keep waiting for the right time, you'll never truly start living. The future never comes in the way we expect it. We keep waiting for something to change outside of ourselves, but the real shift needs to happen inside. The truth is, you will never have control over everything that happens in your life. Things will change. Unexpected events will occur. But what you can control is how you choose to live right now. No. You can control your mindset, your actions, your decisions today. And it is those decisions that will create the future you desire. We're taught to always look ahead, to focus on what's next. But sometimes that forward focus becomes a distraction. It prevents us from appreciating what's in front of us now. You can't live in the future. You can't experience it until it becomes the present. And if you're always looking ahead, you risk missing the beauty of what's right in front of you. Living in the moment doesn't mean abandoning your goals or your plans for the future. It means recognizing that life is happening now, that the future is shaped by how you live today. It means fully embracing the present, finding joy in the small things, and understanding that each step you take today moves you closer to the future you are building. It's easy to let your mind wander to what's next. What's after this stage of life? What's after this challenge? What's after this setback? But the more you focus on the what-ifs, the more you disconnect from what is. The truth is, no matter how much you plan, the future will never be exactly what you expect. It will come with its own surprises, its own twists and turns. The only thing that's certain is now. The only time you can live fully is today. When you focus too much on the future, you rob yourself of the opportunity to live fully in the present. Future will come, but you don't have to wait for it to start living. You can start now, right where you are, with what you have. Instead of focusing on what's next, focus on what's now. What are you doing today that brings you joy, that makes you feel alive? What choices are you making that move you closer to the life you want to create? The future is built on the foundation of the present. If you don't invest in today, if you don't make choices that align with your values, you will find that the future is just an extension of the same patterns you have today. Take a moment to breathe, to pause, to recognize the life you are living right now. It's easy to get caught up in what's to come, but remember, the life you're waiting for is waiting for you to show up today. The future will be shaped by the energy you put into the now. Each action, each decision, each moment of presence creates the future you will one day look back on. The real magic happens when you learn to enjoy the journey, when you let go of the need to control everything, when you stop worrying about what's next, and when you start living fully in the moment. That's when you find true peace. The future doesn't need to be rushed or forced. It will unfold as it's meant to. But your present, this moment, is in your hands, and how you live today will determine the future you create. We often think of ourselves as separate from the world around us. You don't have to change the entire world by yourself. The key is to show up, to be present, to contribute in the ways that you can. Every small act of kindness, every decision to be compassionate, every moment of presence makes a difference. It creates a ripple. And those ripples connect to others, forming a larger wave of change. Ultimately, recognizing our interconnectedness means embracing our responsibility to each other. It means acknowledging that our actions don't exist in a vacuum. Every choice we make has an impact. And with that awareness comes a sense of responsibility. Not just to ourselves, but to the world around us. It's a reminder that we are not separate from life. We are part of it, and what we do with our part can make all the difference. In every moment, you are contributing to the world in some way. And when you choose to live with awareness of that connection, when you choose to live with intention, you are choosing to create a positive impact. Your life is a thread in the larger fabric of humanity. And your actions, no matter how small, shape the world in ways you can't even imagine. So remember this, you are not alone. You are part of something much larger, something beautiful, something deeply interconnected. And in that, there is both power and purpose. There is a fundamental truth that often gets lost in the hustle of life. A truth that, if embraced, can change everything. That truth is that you are enough exactly as you are right now. This idea might sound simple, but it holds incredible power. We spend so much of our lives trying to become someone else, trying to live up to an ideal, trying to meet someone else's expectations, that we forget the truth of our own worth. We forget that we don't need to prove anything to anyone. We don't need to chase an image of perfection. We don't need to become something else to be worthy of love, success, or happiness. We are already enough. In a world that constantly tells us to be more, to do more, to have more, it's easy to lose sight of this truth. We look at other people's lives and think that we're falling short. We compare ourselves to others, measuring our progress against theirs, and forget that everyone has their own unique path. Your journey is yours alone. It doesn't need to mirror anyone else's. Your value is not determined by how much you accomplish or how well you stack up to others. It is inherent. It is already there, waiting to be recognized. The idea that we are not enough, that we have to change or improve in order to be worthy, is deeply ingrained in us from a young age. We're taught to strive, to reach for the next goal, to fix what's broken. And while growth and improvement are beautiful things, they should never be tied to the idea that we are lacking in some way. Growth is not about filling a hole or fixing a flaw. It's about expanding, evolving, and becoming the fullest version of ourselves. But that version of you, the version that is whole and worthy, already exists. When we stop measuring ourselves against others, when we stop trying to live up to some external standard, we free ourselves to be who we truly are. And that freedom is the key to living a meaningful life. The moment you accept that you are enough, that you don't need to prove anything, is the moment you can fully embrace the life that's in front of you. It's the moment you can start living authentically, without the weight of unrealistic expectations. So many of us live in a constant state of a not enough. We believe that we'll only be happy once we achieve something, once we reach a certain place in life. But this mindset keeps us trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. No matter how much we achieve, it's never enough. We're always moving the goalposts, always reaching for the next thing. But happiness doesn't come from achievement. It comes from acceptance. It comes from realizing that you are already whole, already complete, just as you are. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that there's always something more to be done, something more to be added to your life to make it meaningful. But what if the key to a meaningful life is not about adding, but about simplifying? What if the key is in letting go of the idea that you need to be more and instead embracing who you already are? When you let go of the need to prove your worth, you make space for the things that truly matter: love, connection, peace. Living from a place of I am enough doesn't mean you stop striving for growth or improvement. It doesn't mean you stop working toward your dreams or goals. It simply means that you do so from a place of love and self-acceptance, not from a place of lack or insecurity. When you realize that you are enough, you begin to make choices based on what aligns with your true self, not based on what you think you should be doing or what others expect from you. And this acceptance isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey. It's something that you have to actively choose day after day. It's about unlearning the stories that tell you that you're not enough, that you need to be different in order to be loved or successful. It's about letting go of the external noise and turning inward to listen to the truth that resides deep within you. When you embrace the truth that you are enough, you begin to see the world differently. You start to notice the beauty in the small moments. You begin to appreciate the simple joys, the quiet successes, the things that once seemed insignificant. You realize that life is not about accumulating accolades or titles. It's about experiencing the fullness of what it means to be human, to feel deeply, to connect with others, to grow, to love, to learn, to be present. And when you live from a place of I am enough, you start to attract people and experiences that resonate with that truth. You stop seeking validation from outside sources because you know your worth doesn't come from others' approval. It comes from within. You begin to create relationships and experiences that nurture your soul, that align with your values and desires. And as you do, you realize that the life you've been waiting for has always been available to you. It was never about becoming someone else or achieving more. It was about accepting who you already are. In the end, the most important thing you can do in life is to embrace your inherent worth. You are enough exactly as you are. And when you realize this, you stop chasing things that won't fulfill you. You start living a life of purpose, of authenticity, of connection. Because when you know you are enough, you no longer need to search for anything outside of yourself. You've already arrived. You don't need permission to step into your power. This moment right here is your reminder that you are capable, worthy, and destined for more. So now the question is, what are you going to do with it?